This event is being streamed on the website, so you could go to the university website if you'd like to make a call about that to anyone right now. Do so, so they can see this online being streamed live. Also, I would like to ask you to please not turn your cell phones off, but silence them so you can use your cameras. But please do silence your cell phones so it does not disturb the folks on stage and the people in the audience. So with that, congratulations. Our ceremony will start momentarily. Welcome to the Ford Center and the University.
Thank you. Let's give. Good evening, and welcome to this special event in your lives and in the lives of the university. I'm Don Cole, and it's my pleasure to serve as Assistant Chancellor and Assistant Provost for Multicultural Affairs. I am so very pleased to welcome you to the 2010 Doctoral Hooding Ceremony as you recognize those who have earned the highest degree offered by this institution, which we deem as the doctorate degree. Earning a doctorate naturally requires much intellectual ability, but moreover, it requires tenacity, determination, creativity, and as our graduates can attest, it requires patience. But in addition to all of these internal attributes, this degree requires lots and lots and lots of support. You've heard the phrase that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village also to produce a PhD degree. The path to the doctorate can be rough with many obstacles, some foreseen and some not. And degree candidates invariably find that they are helped along the way by one another and by others in what we term their support system. As we celebrate the achievements of the candidates, it is only fitting that we recognize the various individuals who have been members of this academic village. So, toward that end, will all members of the graduate faculty, including the research advisors, please stand that we might recognize you. The finest faculty that you'll find anywhere. Now, will all of the students' colleagues, all the lab and library mates, and all of your colleagues, let us recognize those as well. Might you stand? So our graduates have no colleagues, no friends. Okay. Well, will all of the grandparents and parents and spouses and children and brothers and sisters and in-laws and outlaws and relatives of any type, might you stand? Okay. Thank you so very much. You are the ones who sent money, who prayed for them, who bought gas, food, and clothing, and everything else. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. Believe me, the University of Mississippi could not be a great public university without your support. The various schools and colleges of the university are headed by our academic deans, whom I ask to stand as I call their names. Dr. Glenn Hopkins, Dean of the College of Liberal Arts. Dr. Alex Chang, and hold your applause until all have been introduced, please. Alex Chang, Dean of the School of Engineering. Dean Ken Sari, Dean of the School of Business. Dr. David Rock, Dean of the School of Education. Dr. David Allen, Dean of the School of Pharmacy. Dr. Mark Wilder, Dean of the Patterson School of Accountancy. Dr. Cal Board, Interim Dean of the School of Applied Sciences. Now, help me recognize our deans. And the finest deans anywhere else, I might add. The graduate school is led by Dr. Christy Wyant, who serves as interim dean. Unfortunately, Dr. Wyant cannot be here tonight due to a death in her family. She asks that we convey her congratulations to our graduates. In her absence, Dr. Maurice F. Tink, Associate Provost, who recently served as Dean of the Graduate School, will lead the rest of tonight's ceremony. At this time, I call Dr. F. Tink to the lectern.
You got me?
I think you're right.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Cole, for your recognitions and introductions. As you'll see in our ceremony tonight, the graduate school wishes to shine the spotlight on our graduates. Each year, the graduate school selects 2 outstanding doctoral candidates to serve as class marshals among the many outstanding candidates. This year, our marshals are Kristen Paris and John Estes. We now ask Kristen and John to come forward to tell us about their journey to the degree and their supporters.
We are here tonight because of a vision, a focal point that has existed in some distant future, and it feels that for some time now we have all strived for that future. We have strived to touch the horizon, a horizon of English or maybe history, for some accounting or mathematics. We are here tonight living that surreal scenario. Tonight the horizon is reached. But it'd be foolish and arrogant to believe that we're here by our own merits. Just as we have spent hours, days, and years investing into our academics, our professors and our departments have worked tirelessly investing into us. And just as we, the students, are now reaping the harvest for our work, we realize that this harvest is being shared by our professors, our departments, and collectively by the University of Mississippi. We are here tonight with hearts of gratitude. Gratitude extended toward our advisors, who through example and tutelage work to transform immature students into colleagues. We thank you, professors, for your diligence to instruct, for offering counsel and correction, and for setting a standard to chase after. We are proud to call you mentors. To our university, we also offer thanks. Thank you for sharing these hallowed grounds, for providing an environment conducive for thought and learning, and for providing a community in which to grow. We are here tonight because of a vision carried out by those who came before us, those who reached their own horizons, and to them, the faculty of the great University of Mississippi, we are thankful.
First of all, I'm deeply honored to stand here in front of you on this wonderful occasion. Tonight is the culmination of a truly incredible journey. Tonight we celebrate the hard work and the sacrifices we have made and our commitment and dedication to furthering our academic careers. As John said, each of us stand here tonight with heart filled with gratitude for our wonderful mentors, as well as the faculty and staff of this beloved university who have made an indelible mark on each of our lives. We truly would not be here without you. We also, however, would not be standing here tonight if not for the love, support, encouragement, and reassurance each of us has received from our family and friends. I know from my own personal experience that my family's support has had a tremendous impact on my academic achievements. I'm not going to lie, there have been points in my graduate studies when I felt incredibly overwhelmed. I was ready to pack my car, turn in my 2 weeks' notice, so to speak, and watch my days as a PhD student disappear in my rear window. Okay, so maybe it was more than once, but you all know what I'm talking about. But as you can guess, as I'm standing here tonight, I never packed that car. And I can honestly tell you that it's because of the unconditional love and the constant faith in my abilities shown each day by my amazing husband, by my family, and my friends. You all know who you are, and I love each one of you very much. So I would like to take a moment to specifically thank each one of you who traveled here from the far corners of the earth to be here tonight for each one of us. It really means a lot to us. Today is not only a day to celebrate our own personal achievements, this graduation belongs as much to us as it does to each one of you here tonight, to our family, our spouses, and each of our loved ones. Each one of you has sacrificed just as much as we have, if not more. Therefore, each of you deserves equal praise for your constant love and support. Again, we wouldn't be here without you. And to all my fellow graduates, I wish you the best of success. May you meet your goals, challenge your fears, attain happiness, and achieve your dreams. Thanks.
Thank you, Kristen and John, for speaking for the graduates. When the graduate school was formally organized in 1927 at the university, the faculty articulated the aims and ends of graduate education, from which I will read a quote. Graduate study implies more than the acquisition of knowledge under competent instruction. The doctoral candidate should aspire to the degree of knowledge of a given subject in order to make a contribution that is of original and independent value. This does not imply that much of the student's energies are not still to be applied to the acquisitions of facts universally accepted, a process that should continue through life. But in graduate study, these facts are to be weighed, coordinated, and supplemented by the student's own contributions. Words written 85 years ago that still describe graduate education at the university. And work towards a doctoral degree is a personalized journey in which a student not only acquires a body of knowledge in a specific field, but it is a journey in which he or she explores new scholarly frontiers, usually working in close association with one or more of our faculty mentors. It is thus fitting that our ceremony tonight recognizes these faculty members as well as the doctoral candidates. Holders of a doctoral degree carry with them certain expectations, which I point out as a challenge to you. These expectations are that in the course of your career, you will become a contributor to your discipline and to society by becoming a teacher, a researcher, an innovator, a highly skilled professional, or a creator of products, whether the product be artistic or technical, that will enrich your own life and the lives of others. Doctoral education at the University of Mississippi is marked by its breadth of fields and diversity. You will witness this richness of texture in terms of the range of academic fields represented and the diversity of our students and faculty. This richness is symbolized by the pageantry of the hooding process, which dates back to the 12th century. The robes and hoods initially had a functional role of keeping the 12th century scholars warm and dry in the drafty and damp monasteries and libraries of medieval European universities. And over time, the robes and hoods became a symbol of scholars and scholarship. And today, the hooding ceremony is a symbolic ritual in which the advisor initiates the student into this highest order of scholars. And the color of the hoods represent different degrees and universities. The hood of the PhD is lined in blue velvet. The hood of someone receiving an education doctorate is edged in light blue velvet. A Juris Doctorate in purple, a Doctor of Arts in white, a medical doctor in green, etc. The silk lining of the hood reflects the university granting the degree. The colors of the University of Mississippi are a blue chevron on a field of gold. These colors were introduced by Professor Alexander Bondurant, who was the first dean of the graduate school. And you will notice that our faculty members wear hoods with many different colors representing the universities from which they received their degree. I now call forward for hooding the 2011-12 class of doctorates of the University of Mississippi along with their faculty advisors. Assistant to the Dean, Ms. Robin Wiebe, will assist by reading the names of doctoral candidates and their advisors, and Dr. Don Cole will also assist by handing out diploma cases. As names are read, I ask you to hold your applause until all have been hooded, so that the names can be clearly heard and to observe the dignity of the ceremony. And I promise you that when all are hooded, we will welcome exuberant cheering.
Rashid Adebisi, Physics, to be hooded by Dr. Joseph Gladden. Sudarshan Adhikari, Engineering Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Chung R. Song. Karin Anderson, Psychology, to be hooded by Dr. John Young. Dion Bailey, History, to be hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Payne. Matthew Bailey, History, to be hooded by Dr. Ted Owenby. Susan Renee Barclay, Higher Education, to be hooded by Dr. Laurie A. Wolf. Marie Barnard, Pharmacy Administration, to be hooded by Dr. Donna West Strum. Tracy R. Bell, Elementary Education, to be hooded by Dr. Larry G. Hanshaw. William Homer Black, Accountancy, to be hooded by Dr. Dale Flesher. Eric Bonds, Music, to be hooded by Dr. Michael Worthy. Christy Brewer, Health and Kinesiology, to be hooded by Dr. Dwight Waddle. Corey Stephen Cagle, Accountancy, to be hooded by Dr. Dale Flesher. Carrie Copeland, Chemistry, to be hooded by Dr. Gregory S. Jumper. Sandipan Data, Pharmaceutical Science, to be hooded by Dr. Donald Cole. Wei Bin Deng, Pharmaceutics, to be hooded by Dr. Michael Repka. Dr. Arlene Belinda Dowd, Education, to be hooded by Dr. Timothy Letzring. Jared Eggington, Finance, to be hooded by Dr. Robert Van Ness. Suzanne Farmer, History, to be hooded by Dr. Joseph Ward. Gang Fu, Pharmaceutical Science, to be hooded by Dr. Robert J. Dirksen. Zhang Fu, Pharmaceutical Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Ikhlas Khan. Mary Funk, Finance, to be hooded by Dr. Bonnie Van Ness. Vivek Kumar Garapelli, Pharmaceutics, to be hooded by Sibong Zhou. Nadezhda Kolomedic, Counselor Education, to be hooded by Dr. David A. Spruill. David Hargrove, History, to be hooded by Dr. Ted Owenby. Daniel Carl Harris, Accountancy, to be hooded by Dr. Dale Flesher. Keaton Hippoganikar, Pharmaceutics, to be hooded by Dr. Somaji Majumdar. Jim Hood, Higher Education, to be hooded by Dr. Timothy Letzring. Peng Ho, Engineering Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Lee Cao. Afif Samir Husni, Pharmaceutical Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Stephen Cutler. Seshulatha Jamalpuram, Pharmaceutics, to be hooded by Dr. Bonnie Avery. Latoya Jefferson, English, to be hooded by Dr. Ateyu Alabi. Jason Wayne Johnson, English, to be hooded by Dr. Maurice Eftink. Chandra S.R. Kaipa, Engineering Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Alexander B. Yakovlev. Marlon King, Elementary Education, to be hooded by Dr. Bobby Smothers Jones. Rajesh Koda, Chemistry, to be hooded by Dr. Daniil Matern. Malika Karahami, Pharmaceutical Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Daniil Ferreira. Stephen Lenoff, Business Administration, to be hooded by Dr. Douglas W. Voorhees. Tamisha Estes Lipford, Elementary Education, to be hooded by Dr. Bobby Smothers Jones. Joshua Alexander Magruder, Counselor Education, to be hooded by Dr. Kevin B. Stoltz. Shwetha Mahalakshmi, Engineering, to be hooded by Dr. Clint Williford. Jessica Mankus, Pharmaceutical Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Christopher R. McCurdy. Logan Marcus, Physics, to be hooded by Dr. Richard Raspet. Corey Catlett Merricks, English, to be hooded by Dr. Catherine McKee. Nurullah Naqvi Muhammad, Pharmaceutics, to be hooded by Dr. Michael A. Repka. Margot Nicole Montgomery, Chemistry, to be hooded by Dr. Walter E. Cleland, Jr. Garnet Mowat, Music, to be hooded by Dr. Alan Spurgeon. Xiao Fei Nan, Engineering Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Don Wilkins. Hayam Nairi, Engineering Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Atef El-Sherbini. F. Evan No, History, to be hooded by Dr. Ted Owenby and Dr. Robbie Etheridge. Kyle Null, Pharmacy Administration, to be hooded by Dr. John Bentley. Yashwanth R. Paduru, Engineering Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Alexander B. Yakovlev. Vicki Lynn Patterson Davidson, Education, to be hooded by Dr. Thea H. Williams Black. Douglas R. Paul, Pharmacy Administration, to be hooded by Dr. Noel Wilkin. Joseph Mitchell Price, Business Administration, to be hooded by Dr. Douglas W. Voorhees. Jesse Primer III, Music, to be hooded by Dr. Alan Spurgeon. Benjamin Purvis, History, to be hooded by Dr. Charles Reagan Wilson. Rachel Purvis, History, to be hooded by Dr. John Neff and Dr. Robbie Etheridge. Deborah Jo Sardini, to be hooded by Dr. Nathan Hammer. Sarah Marie Scarry, Pharmaceutical Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. John M. Romaldi. James Eric Sims, Accountancy, to be hooded by Dr. Dale Flesher. Abhilasha Singh, Pharmaceutics, to be hooded by Dr. Michael A. Repka. Wendy Smith, History, to be hooded by Dr. Elizabeth Payne. Jack Smothers, Business Administration, to be hooded by Dr. Mark Bing. Ramesh Surangam, Pharmaceutics, to be hooded by Dr. Somajit Majumdar. Zadaka T.C. Thomas, Counselor Education, to be hooded by Dr. David A. Spruill. Vanilla Thumala, Pharmacy Administration, to be hooded by Dr. Benjamin Banahan. Randy Tilmott, Music, to be hooded by Dr. Alan Spurgeon. Audrey Uffner, History, to be hooded by Dr. John Neff. Siva Ram Kiran Vaka, Pharmaceutics, to be hooded by Dr. S. Narasimha Murthy. Jeffrey D. Veals, Chemistry, to be hooded by Dr. Stephen Davis. Pradeep Kumar Vupala, Pharmaceutics, to be hooded by Dr. Bonnie Avery. Billy Joe Carter Walker II, Educational Leadership, to be hooded by Dr. Dennis A. Bunch. Scott Thomas Wallace, Higher Education, to be hooded by Dr. Lori A. Wolf. Ben Wang, Pharmaceutical Science, to be hooded by Dr. Mark Hammond. Xiaoning Wang, Pharmaceutical Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Stephen Cutler and Dr. David Wedge. David Watson, Pharmaceutical Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Christopher McCurdy. Jonathan Whitmire, Music, to be hooded by Dr. Michael Worthy. Wallace Alexander Williams, Jr., Business Administration, to be hooded by Dr. Tony Emeter. Adam Wilson, History, to be hooded by Dr. John Neff. Yushan Wu, Pharmaceutical Sciences, to be hooded by Dr. Mitchell Avery. Zekwamini Morna, Economics, to be hooded by Dr. Robert Van Ness. Kristen Paris von Walder, Psychology, to be hooded by Dr. Marilyn Mendolia. John Estes, Mathematics, to be hooded by Dr. Bing Wei and Dr. William Staten.
And now, it would be a good time to congratulate our graduates. Okay, we got a few more things to tell you about. Graduate students play an important role in the education of our undergraduate students as well, even though their principal purpose for being at the university is to be students themselves. Several years ago, the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning established an award, the Golden Apple Award, to recognize the contributions of graduate instructors to our educational enterprise. Dr. Ann Canty, who serves as Associate Provost and Acting Director of the Center, will announce this year's winner.
Thank you, Dr. Epting. The Excellence in Teaching Award was inaugurated in 2008 by the Center for Excellence in Teaching and Learning to recognize the importance of the teaching role performed by graduate instructors and teaching assistants at the University of Mississippi. The recipient of this award receives a check for $1,000 and a golden apple trophy, and their name is added to a plaque that is on display in the J.D. Williams Library. This year, the Excellence in Teaching Award goes to Eric Bonds. Eric served as a graduate instructor for the Department of Music in the College of Liberal Arts. He earned his bachelor's degree from North Georgia College and State University, his master's from Boston University, and tonight earns his doctorate. Since the fall of 2009, Eric served as a teaching assistant and graduate instructor for a variety of courses from the 100 level Introduction to Music course for non-majors to a graduate level research in music education. Faculty in his department noted, Eric has been exemplary as a teaching assistant, always helpful to his students and colleagues. His students appreciated his passion for music and wrote, he has a unique desire to make a difference in the lives of others and to educate them to their full ability about the importance of music. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Eric Bonds.
The Graduate School at the University of Mississippi embraces the objective of promoting diversity in our student body and academic programs. The university is proud of the success of its minority and international students and attempts to provide a supportive environment for all graduate students, including older students, returning veterans, disabled students, students from all backgrounds. Several years ago, the graduate school, working with the leaders of our Graduate Student Council, received a national award for our past efforts and planned future efforts in creating an inclusive environment for graduate education. And in our proposal for this award, we described our plan to recognize annually an individual or program that best exemplifies the ideals of enhancing inclusiveness in graduate education. Over the years, we've honored Dr. Don Cole, the Mathematics Graduate Program, Dr. Joe Ward, Professor of History, Dr. Ellen Gross, Professor of Psychology. Systemic changes in the way that diversity has infused our graduate programs to the extent that we decided that we could not stop with just one winner this year. And so we were compelled to select two winners for 2012, whom I now announce. First, a few years ago, the university made news in graduate education by graduating 4 African-American PhDs in mathematics in one year, when there were only about 15 PhDs that went to minority students that year in the entire nation. And a couple of years ago, we recognized the mathematics graduate program for this by giving them an award. For those of you who are not familiar with major issues in higher education, and why would you, there has historically been an underrepresentation of minority students in doctoral programs in fields like math and science and engineering. Well, this year, if you counted, we are graduating 3 African-American PhDs in chemistry, which is also a significant achievement given the size of our institution and that there are only, on average, about 50 PhDs in chemistry awarded nationwide each year to African Americans. So the winner of one of this year's awards for excellence in promoting inclusiveness in graduate education is the graduate program in chemistry. And I ask Dr. Walt Cleland, Program Coordinator of Chemistry, to come forward, I think he's seated behind me, to receive the award. The chemistry department has a sustained record of recruiting, mentoring, and graduating minority students. In fact, our math and chemistry departments often vie neck and neck for the leadership in graduating PhDs, but it's more than just numbers. As Dr. Margot Montgomery, newly hooded, Dr. Margot Montgomery wrote in a nomination letter. She said, "Promoting diversity in the sciences goes well beyond the process of recruiting women and minorities. Underrepresented students need a nurturing environment of faculty, staff, and other students. The chemistry department has made me, other minority students, international students, all students feel wanted and important. They want us to succeed. It's a unit of different parts functioning as one." Thank you, Margot. And thank you to the Department of Chemistry. Thank you. We also were overwhelmed by another nomination we received about the master's program degree in sociology. I call forward to accept this award Drs. Jeff Jackson and Zandria Robinson, two faculty members in the sociology graduate program who have been major contributors to the efforts by sociology to promote inclusiveness. While Drs. Jackson and Robinson come forward, let me explain why we were compelled to recognize sociology as well. The faculty of the sociology's master's program has made an exceptional commitment to support the work and academic careers of students of color and to build a faculty that is both diverse in its own membership and actively studies issues related to ethnic group inequalities and access. Now, because the highest degree this department offers is the master's degree, the sociology faculty members make special efforts to place their master's students into leading sociology PhD programs around the country and to instill these students with knowledge of the unwritten rules that will enable them to succeed in these graduate programs. The Sociology Master's Program is a model for its dedication to students while squarely addressing race-related issues. Drs. Jackson and Robinson, we are pleased to recognize you and the other sociology faculty with this award. Before we conclude this evening's ceremony, I wish to give out a few more thanks. I want to thank the Graduate Student Council members and the Ford Center's staff who've served as ushers. And I also like to thank the graduate school staff who helped with logistics. And I also want to thank the faculty brass quintet comprising John Schuchlin and Charles Gates on trumpet, Robert Gilbert on horn, Michael Worthy on trombone, and Joseph Selsmanberger on tuba, who helped set the tone for tonight's ceremony. Please join me in thanking these individuals. I remind you that the morning's commencement ceremony will begin at 9 a.m. sharp in the Grove, with members of the procession assembling at 8:30. The new doctorates are encouraged to proudly wear their hoods and march behind the graduate school's banner, which is assembling by Phaser Hall. Now, will the doctoral class of 2011 and 2012 please rise? And would you please turn and face the audience? And faculty, family, and friends, please join me in congratulating this doctoral class.